and a warm welcome to you all. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. So let's just go over into the chat and see who's here. Welcome, Misty. Joni, welcome. We've got KD, hello, from Maine. Fabulous. Barbara is here. Jean, who else do we have here? Heather, that is in the Sunshine Coast in BC. Woo! I used to live in Vancouver. I love that part of the world. Canada is awesome. Let's give it up for our Canadian friends. Welcome. So tonight I'm going to take you on a journey with a very special guest. Colette is joining me all the way from the West Coast. And you're going to hear some inspiration from Colette when I introduce you to her in a little moment. But let's just dive into this subject matter, which is tonight. The first thing I want to talk about is, how did you come up with your ideas? Doing hair, I may add. How do you come up with those ideas? I'm curious to know, when you look at your guest and you are thinking, what are we going to do? How do you come up with those ideas? So let's talk about our design map that we have. And our design map is pretty special, right? So let me just make sure my little widget's moving here, which clearly it's not. Because what I want to do is talk to you tonight about the design map and how you train your eye. Only one. The other one can go to sleep. But how do you train your eye to see shape, balance, that sense of it works or it does not work? And how do you get that feeling when the client leaves, you just think, nice one, as opposed to, shouldn't have done that. Should have measured a few more times and kept it maybe 3 inches longer. Or dress work, which is what we're going to explore tonight. I hope it lasts till she gets to the car. And then I hope it lasts to the event that she's going to. And I always used to worry about that. In fact, when I was at Sassoon's, I used to get sent ladies whose hair was going to be dressed for something. And I remember one time a bride came in and I was so terrified. If I could have climbed out of the staff room window and run away with the circus, clearly I would have done. I was just so unprepared. I'd never been given the communication skills to talk to a bride. I did not even know the questions to be asking other than, oh, you're getting married? I didn't ask questions about the dress, the veil, all of the things that you have to clearly ask about. And I just did the hairstyle that I knew I could do as opposed to what she really wanted. And I remember going through this horrible experience of feeling as though all the blood was draining out of me. And I was going in this emotional roller coaster, to be perfectly honest. And you know what? I thought, I never want to experience this ever again in my life. So I either run away with the circus or I learn. So I decided to become an obsessed lifelong learner. And now when things don't go quite the way I planned, and tonight I'm going to do 2 hairstyles for you. And I hope they will be quick and you'll find them enjoyable. I have no guarantee they're going to work. And if they don't, we will all have a really good laugh, right? Yeah, anyway, so I'm going to talk to you tonight about how do you train your eyes to see shape, balance, proportion, and put the right look on the right person. So I have something I call my design map, which really is nothing more than a consultation. So I'm going to take you a little bit through that tonight, but I'm going to talk more about how I map out a hairstyle and how I can take someone from very long hair short, or someone with long hair, and talk them out of going short, because I always want to do the right look on the right person. And I don't really care whether it's 6 inches on their head or 1 inch. It has to be the right look for their age, their lifestyle, their personality, their face shape, their hair texture, and the list goes on. So one of the things that I know is really very helpful is a consultation form. And I use that, and I feel lost without it, to be perfectly honest, because, you know, when you're in a hurry or you're stressed or your gut feeling's telling you something or your intuition is telling you something and you're not thinking rationally, it's very easy to forget a few questions, especially when you're running behind. And those few questions could be a game changer, couldn't they? They could be the client being happy or the client not returning. So I realized that if I can use a consultation to be my gatekeeper my insurance. It will do the work for me should I slip. And I think that's really important. So we're going to go over a little bit of that tonight. So before we do that, let's just take a light dive into what the consultation is. The consultation for me starts not with technique. It starts with my 3 wheels of fashion, and I'll explain that as we go through. And the 3 wheels of fashion is really more about personality and lifestyle. Then I study the face shape. I look at the structure of the face and the head and the neck. And of course, I look at body type and I determine balance and scale. Now, when I'm looking at the face, clearly I am looking at the age of the client and how can I either make them look younger or mature. How can I do that? And then technique is very last. So before I go and pick up any of my tools, I say tools down. I'm just going to look and I'm going to vogue around the face and I'm going to look at the balance and the proportion. I'm going to have my consultation do the work for me. That's doing the heavy lifting. I then become the interpreter. I then translate these ideas and then off we jolly well go to the circus. So I'm going to show you my new collection shot by Joseph Cartwright. And this is a beautiful collection called Glam Grunge. And I wanted to kind of dive into the world of grunge, but also the world of glamour. And this is kind of part of my haircut revolution quest that I'm on to really bring back some really great short hair. So this is a round haircut. It's got round layers in it, got lots and lots of texture, very, very moppy. This look is a very nice side sweep. It's layered. It's got a soft asymmetry. And the question would be, anytime a client brings in a photograph of a shorter hairstyle and you look at that one photograph on Instagram or Pinterest and you go, yeah. And you look at the client, yeah. And you look at the client and you go, in your head, you're saying, sweetie, this is a comb, it ain't a magic wand, right? And then you think, I wonder how the back is. I wonder how the side is. And it's really hard to know just from looking at a photograph, isn't it? But the question is, how do you reverse engineer a look? And of course, at the end of the day, how do you make that look balance? So I always say, if a client showed you this picture, would you be able to recreate this style? So one of the things I know about our business is the pixie will never go away, whether it's a long pixie, a short pixie. This is a pixie with a nice rooted area. And I wanted the sexiness with the edginess that I think was quite interesting. This here is working with kind of a disconnected hairstyle with the layers around the face and a longer back. So it's a little bit of a mullet, but not too much of a mullet, but she's certainly leaning that way. And I think it's pretty cool, actually. Here we have another version of a little mullet, which I think is just really cute. Again, a younger look, really very cool with the disconnections that we play with and a sense of balance and flow. So when we look at these hairstyles and we look at how do we come up with the ideas, whether it be, our layered looks and giving them a bit more edge, right? Or whether it be just something just very soft and pretty, just a little feathered flick that is so simple and so elegant. Or whether it be just going back into our bobs, a blunt bob with a little tiny bit of movement. Yes, you could put a few ghost layers in there, but the idea with this is to really keep it very Brummer-like. And for that wonderful sort of sexy, how do we do those silvers with the ash tones and do a very disheveled, sexy, undone look? Now, aren't those fierce eyes? Incredible eyes. An amazing makeup by David Maderich, by the way. Incredible. The little tiny French bob, as cute as can be. I love this little haircut. It is 100% razor cut, and it just has this lovely, cute little vibe to it. So just very, very, very adorable. And again, I wanted to do commercial looks with an edge and get people excited about wearing their hair short again. And how many of you in the chat are saying, Viv, yeah, you're right. It's time to get back into some short hair again, right? It is exciting. This here is my wolf look, so to speak. And I just love the whole vibe of, the drama of the shag haircut. And so to me, these are all important. So I said tonight, how do I come up with these looks, and how do we create our design map? So whether it be for a photographic collection or whether it be just your regular everyday clients, to me, there's no difference, because everyone has a story, everyone has a look, right? And so it's my job to understand their story. So their story could be, I'm classic, everything must be in place, everything's prim and proper, I like everything very manicured, I'm sophisticated, I'm elegant. That's my story. Then somebody else could be, well, I like it really relaxed and undone, I'd never put a comb to my hair, I don't wash my hair, maybe once a month. I'm much more into that grunge undone look. I was on a photo shoot one time and I was working with this gentleman, and I went, when was the last time you washed your hair? He said to me, a year ago. And I went, oh! There was this trend, I don't know whether you remember it, but everyone thought that in New York that it was a bad idea to wash your hair. I didn't think it was a bad idea. I thought it was a nightmare idea not to wash your hair. Does anyone remember that time? I don't know. It's just really weird, right? So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about developing your style. I'm going to show you some really great techniques. But if you like what I showed you and you think, oh gosh, I'd like to learn a bit of that, whether it be cutting, whether it be styling, then I'm going to invite you to something really exciting that we're doing. And this is really going to be a whole lot of fun. And this is, I'm just going to go there, to my long hair styling boot camp. So on the 12th and the 13th of November, we're doing a 2-day boot camp. And you can do it from the comfort of your kitchen, your salon, you can do it in the park. And the fabulous lady you're going to meet in a moment, she did not let any reason get in the way from not showing up. She went camping with her mannequin head. We got to see the campground. She went on a cruise with the mannequin head. She went everywhere with the mannequin head. So I don't care where you are in the world. All you have to do is show up with a dolly head and a computer screen, right? And off you jolly well go. But if you want me to help you, I'll give you a bit more information on that, and you can just put some questions in the chat as you have them. Yes, so we're doing a 2-day workshop, which will be a whole lot of fun, and it's a virtual one. So why listen to me, right? Why listen to me? You've got nothing else better to do tonight, right? Well, anyway, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. And I'm going to show you hopefully some really nice hair, because you know what they say, you're only as good as the last thing you did. I've been very fortunate in my career. I've worked with the best of the best in the world. I wasn't necessarily a gifted student. I had to work really hard for what I have. It didn't come to me naturally. I just worked really, really hard, and I just knew with determination and grit and just showing up, something would happen. I didn't really have a clear career focus. I didn't really know what I could do in this industry. I just kept showing up and saying to myself, if I do a really good job, surely something good will happen. And it did over and over again, because I was just willing to show up and do whatever it took. So I've been very fortunate. I've worked with the best in the world. I've trained some of the most famous hairdressers in the world who've gone on to build empires, who've gone on to win awards, work with major magazines, etc. So it leaves me very, very proud to see people grow. And that to me is so rewarding, because at the end of the day, every single one of you, you're no different to me. We're here to serve, aren't we? You know, the hero is always the client. Always. And we are here to serve. And what I want to talk to you about tonight is taking care of you, giving yourself the tools, giving yourself the love, giving yourself permission to create, giving yourself that place where you can just thrive and not survive. And I think that's super exciting. So let's just go here to this lovely little testimony. My business has exploded. Statistically, the average salon retains 35% of their clients. I can boast that I have an average of 85% retention within the last year. Not only did I grow my business 40%, but the people are coming back, all due to my education from the hair designer program. It has been life-changing, and statistics don't lie. And with that, I would like to introduce to you our fabulous Colette. Hi, Colette.
Hello. Thank you for the invite. Such a pleasure to be here, Viv.
It's lovely to have you here. And as I mentioned to our friends, we went camping with you. We went to some really fun places because nothing was
Yeah,
get in the way of you doing what you love to do, right?
absolutely. That was my one caveat of perhaps not attending the program was that I love to travel. But it turns out that you're right. All I needed was my dolly head, and away we jolly well go. And yes, took her camping. She went to Hawaii. I think Hawaii was my favorite because I did have to attend class at 3 o'clock in the morning, and to me, that was some serious dedication.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah,
that is
but
serious
it's
dedication.
worth it because, like I said, the statistics don't lie. And within a year, I've definitely got statistics to prove that your education program is hands down one of the best things I've ever done in my 30 plus years of hairdressing. You just can't beat it.
What motivated you to go through the training?
Well, I'd watched several of your videos, particularly I think it was on Mondays. I would sit and watch the videos, and one day it might have been a bang trim, or just how to cut bangs, or another one would be an upstyling, color placement. Sometimes you would have a special guest on showing color placement, and it just intrigued me to no end that everything I saw had that balance, had the proportion in such a finite detail. I thought, I want what this woman has. I want what other people have gone through the program have. So I was truly inspired, and I didn't let anything stand in my way. And obviously, like I said, it paid off. It really paid off.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad you stuck with it and you didn't let excuses get in the way of your success. And I think this is where we have to catch our own verbiage, our own language when we give a reason for something, and it may be very valid, or an excuse for something. They're kind of brother and sister to each other. It takes us off the road to success. And I remember when there was an exercise program called P90X. It was pretty aggressive workout system, and I bought the DVDs. One night I couldn't sleep, so I was watching. I think back then when I used to watch TV, I watched this infomercial, and I thought, yeah, that's me. I'm going to do it, right? So I bought the DVDs. And they sat at the edge of my bed. I thought I won't put them away because I'll forget about them. So I'll put them at the edge of the bed. I got so good in coming up with reasons why not to put the DVD in my player. Every day I'd have a different reason. Oh, well, I'm working so hard. I can't do that right now. I would, oh, I'm feeling a little stiff. But I just came up with reason after reason. Then one day, I think it was about a month of BS, I said, why am I making all these stupid excuses if clearly I want to work out? It's not going to happen looking at the DVD. I better get my ass out of bed 1 hour early and do it, right? And I started, and as in all things, a transformation at the gym doesn't happen in one day, 1 week, 1 month. Often it's a year. Often it is longer. And I think we quit just after one day. We don't stick the course of time. And I think that's really important in any craft. And the danger today, as much as I love social media, when you watch something executed in 15 seconds, and it took an hour to produce, and you go off on your sweet way and you try and recreate that little whatever you saw on Instagram, and you go, well, that didn't work. Well, all the bits that were important were edited out, right? So, there's so much today that is smoke and mirrors. So let's get down to the nitty gritty because there's no smoke and mirrors here. This is it. And this is what we're going to do. So I'm just going to put Colette in the background, and I'm just going to focus on the hair, and Colette can then talk to us and ask questions, and she can look at the chat and kind of along. So this is a little haircut that is, let me just bring her back. She's a layered hairstyle that has been set, right? And so when I vogued around the face, I wanted to have a few soft pieces here. I wanted to have a little tiny bit of a fringe kicking back. And as you can see, I've undercut this hair here. So when you look from profile, you can see she's got some short little pieces there, and just very, very sweet. So what I wanted to do, and think about this for your clients with long hair, how can you start to introduce either a little tiny part of a fringe within your curtain fringe? How can you do a little undercut? So if she's the kind of client that wants to pull her hair back, she can do so, and she's got some nice soft pieces there. So I'm just going to let some little pieces fall out. And I think the best dress work is when you're working on something that's got layers in it, as opposed to like a one length hairstyle. And it's funny because when we are working in our editorial course, and I say, you know, bring a long haired mannequin, I always say to people, bring the type of hair that your average client is, which is not one length, is usually layered or facial framed. So this is a really good example of that typical lady. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for a comb. And what we're going to do is talk about how we map out the hairstyle. So I'm going to, first of all, I would obviously have evaluated the face shape. I will have measured the face to make sure that the proportion is correct. I would be determining how much lightness or softness do I want. I would then be poking her eye with my tail comb as I'm trying to figure this out. I'm just joking. I set the hair with a large iron, and I actually teased in here. I teased all the way through here to get this nice texture, and I set the back combing into the hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all put a little bit of oil into my hand, and I'm just going to get a bit more shine into the hair and separate it. And then I'm going to actually, I don't need to back comb this anymore. My second mannequin is going to have more of a back combed hairstyle. So this is just the back combing that's living at the root, and it's called a stacking and packing method. So I'm just going to have a few little pieces that are going to come out, and I'm going to first of all take this hair over here, and I'm just going to use my fingers because I want it to appear undone, and I'm going to use my bobby pins, my kingdom for my bobby pins, and I'm going to come through here. Now, when I put bobby pins into the back of a hairstyle, I stand to the side and I make sure that I'm gliding up this way. And as I glide up, I crisscross and I interlock. And I'm not going to back comb this twist. I'm going to actually show you a French twist, and then I'm going to completely deconstruct it so you can see what happens when you deconstruct a hairstyle. So I'm just going to take my bobby pins and crisscross upwards. So for those of you who are interested in joining me for my editorial 2-day boot camp, we will be going over some fundamentals in dress work. So for example, if you say, well, Viv, I've never done dress work before, brilliant. Or Viv, I'm a bit nervous of it. No worries. That's why we have a mannequin head, right? We're going to practice and play. So don't let I've never done it before stop you, right? So here I've got this pinned up the back, right? There it is. So before I go any further, I know that I want my shape to be smaller here with volume here. I know I want some softness to fall out. I'm not sure about that bit, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. It's got a moment to impress me. Right now it's not impressing me, but we'll see. So now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hair over, and again, I'm going to pull out a little tiny piece. Let's see if I can find something nice to fall out. And I'm going to take this hair over. And as I take it over, I'm just going to twist this hair around into my French sort of twist style. So you can see I've just got that happening there. And I'm just going to use my mirror and look before I secure anything. She's sinking through there for some reason. I just did my sister's hair and my niece's hair for a wedding in California. And I gave her a bit of a bouffant. And the first time I did it, I kind of nailed the height that she was comfortable with. But when it was the day of the event, I went real all gusto because I had more enthusiasm. And I made it a bit bigger. And she went, oh, Viv, she said, it's a bit big. I said to her, don't worry, Paula. I'm going to sit on it. It'll be fine by the time I'm sat on your head. She didn't find it that funny. I thought it was hysterically funny. Things like that amuse me. All right. So I have just done one pin here at the nape of the neck, right? So what I'm going to do now, so I've got my twist, right? So I twisted that around. It's only pinned there. But before I go any further, I'm just going to turn her around and look at the shape and the balance and look to see how this is flowing through. So I don't want to make the commitment of everything until I stop and look. So I always say to people that I'm working with, take 10 seconds, walk around the hairstyle and just make sure that it's working. And Colette, that's something I've told you and all the other stylists many, many times. How life-changing was that for you? Just that simple thing.
Oh, absolutely. So impressive. At the minute that I stop, I step back, just that pause allows you to see things that you don't see when you're so close up. You get so ingrained in the hairstyle and you're within 6 inches of, what you're doing. You get so focused. It's like once you take a step back, it's like, now, does this really balance? Does this really have the proportion? And it allows you to maybe see things that you didn't see before and fix them before they walk out the door. And then as they're walking away, you're going, oops, because I have done that.
Yes, yes, haven't we all?
Yes.
And you know what? I was thinking that those little pieces down would be cute, but clearly they're not. So I've got a basic shape there. Now I'm going to come in with my needle and thread. And tonight's a sewing night. My husband can't even get a button sewn on his shirt or his hems sorted out, but I'm really good with needle and thread. So I'm going to come in through here at the bottom, and this is an elastic thread, and I'm going to come all the way through and connect in here this way. And I'm just going to secure this nice and snug through here, nice and snug. So I'm just going to come through one more time through the base, make sure I'm catching all of the hair. Oops. It's very important to catch it all. I'm actually just going to wrap it around so I get it into the ponytail. So now I'm going to start my sewing. And what's going to happen is I'm going to come in through here and start to deconstruct this hairstyle. So as I come through, I'm going to just come in and out. And I'm going to come in here. And sewing is just a really wonderful way of changing a shape in terms of taking something that has structure and undoing the structure so that you can do something just really, really cool. Because isn't it nice to be able to offer your long hair clients something a little different? So that to me is very, very, very exciting. So Colette, what were the big takeaways that you found from going through the training, someone with as much experience as you have? I know you're making more money now, you're busier than before, but tell us some of the highlights of what was transformative for you.
Vivian, the very first day of training was pretty much transformative for me. I always like telling the story about the bob, blow drying a bob. I mean, how hard can that be? I thought myself a master until you asked us to cut the bob on our mannequin and then blow dry it just with our fingers, just with a comb, making it completely flat, and that area behind the ear so hard to get so straight. And right there, you think, okay, it's a very simple haircut. I mean, I can blow this dry, but the perfection, the detail was in the very first, term of class. And then it just elevated from there in the perfection of razor cutting. I've never used a straight razor. I use it on most of my haircuts now. The whole experience of everything that I learned in all the years and all the hair shows and everything I've done can't even touch what I learned in the year with training with you, to be completely honest. I mean, and it's funny because I have clients that are asking me, I was like, oh, are you still in class? It's like, well, I probably should be, but it was such a lovely year. And I do intend on coming out for some more training coming to New York. And I love everything that you offer. It is absolutely spectacular. So thank you for the education that you so freely give to people.
Oh, thank you, my love. Well, thank you. Well, the most important thing is that you and your clients are gaining the benefit of that. And that's what it's really about. So I'm pretty much finished here, and you can see what's happened. I have sewn this, but you can see now that it's really quite deconstructed. So as I deconstruct, I must make sure still that the balance is correct here. I'm going to raise that up a little higher and make sure that you can still see, because I need to be eye level with my work. So as I'm looking here, I'm looking at, just going to get rid of this for, actually, where are my brand new scissors? That worked. You know, I love Hikari scissors. They're amazing scissors. And when I send my scissors back to be sharpened, they often like wonder, what did you do with your scissors? Oh, nothing really.
Hey, Vivian, real quickly, Mark Peterson asked where he can get the needle and thread.
The best place to go is, well, the needles are, I would say, go to wig stores, because they usually are selling the needles that are bent. You see, this has a bend to it. And they usually sell that there. But the thread, you can just get it from Michael's craft store. And, you know, you can have so much fun with this. So as I'm looking at this shape here, I'm looking at the softness. I previously cut this into a disconnection, which I told you about. So now as I look at the shape and I'm looking at the balance, I see something sticking out. And sometimes when the client says, well, what about that bit? I usually say to her, well, don't look at that bit. That's where the staple gun comes in. And you just kind of, because you want to make sure that your shape is balancing all the way around. And you can see now that does not look like a typical French twist, does it? It's just got a nice flow to it. And she has a little nod, I feel, to Brigitte Bardot.
I was just going to say that. Yep. And that only took you 10 minutes, Vivian. Exactly.
Oh, good. All right. Well, there she is. Guys, do you like her? So basically, I teased at the roots, set the hair on a large iron, this size iron, a barrel curl set. I then ran my fingers through the hair. You didn't see me brush it in the traditional way. And then I pinned up the center back. I then folded the hair over and put one pin at the bottom, check my shape and the balance. A good tip here, it's horrible when you see a gap like this in your ponytail. So what's really nice is to pull the hair on the underneath, and that brings it snug. Plus a 4-inch nail really does work very, very well. Right? Okay. So there she is. Do you like, oh, she went crooked.
It's gorgeous.
So there we have her. All right. So that's number 1, done and dusted. Bye. Off she goes. So guys, as I mentioned before, we're doing a boot camp, long hair styling, 2 days. The date is the 12th and the 13th of November. We also have a years-long program with the editorial course. So this is just an entry point to some of the fun things that we do. So let's look into this now in terms of how have we trained our clients? How have we trained our clients? When a client sits in your chair, you all are very familiar with this look, right? Your nice little beach curl, the drag around the face, so on and so forth. Have you trained your clients to always expect this? Or are you thinking, well, there's something else we can do. We can do like a relaxed ponytail, or Viv just showed a really cool sewing technique. I could just do a rough dry on your hair and sew your hair and not even blow dry it today. Like, why don't we think of things differently? But if we only present this to our client, what about this? This has just a little bit more volume and a little bit more undone. What about this? It's even more sexy and more undone. So when you compare the skinny and down, a bit more bohemian, a little bit sexier, a little bit more glamorous. And then what about this? Super, super glam. So we have one lady with all of these different variables. It's the set, it's the back combing, it's the blow drying, but more importantly, it's putting the right look on the right person, which leads me back to the importance of our consultation. Because if you look at these ladies through the three wheels of fashion, you can clearly see when we go backwards here and we look at our ladies, we've got one lady that's making a very glamorous statement. She's very, 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 very glamorous, right? Very, very glam. We've got one lady that's more bohemian, and we've got degrees of fashion, degrees of sensuality, degrees of how quiet or loud the look is. How sad to do this lovely sort of Hollywood glam look on someone who doesn't appreciate it. What a waste of time. So, you know, you're going to get pushback when you put it on the wrong person. So how to avoid that? It's always going back to the consultation. My three wheels of fashion. How quiet or loud is the style? Where does the client live in fashion? What is the sensuality of the look? What is the face shape and how am I going to design to that? And technique being the very last thing that we do. So we have a program called Who is Sitting in Your Chair? And it's an amazing program because it's a course, but we also meet every month. And during that time, it's so cool because we will do the study of the pear face shape, all the hairstyles that suit the pear, then the study of the round face shape, how to create angles on a nice little chunky monkey that you got sitting in the chair, right? And we go through all the different face shapes. We go over the profiles. How do we increase beauty? What is the science of it? Because there is a science to the beauty, and that's an important part of that. So tonight, our focus is more on dressing hair. So again, when I look at it through the three wheels of fashion, and this collection is called Amour, you've got the glamorous wave, then you've got the very soft, relaxed chignon. Tonight, I'm going to show you a variation of this. I said to Colette, what would she like to see tonight? And she said, oh, I'd love to see how this is done. So I'm going to have a go at doing a variation of this tonight to show you how I created this look. But as we look at through the journey, whether it just be a very simple ponytail with a little bit of a bouffant, whatever that is, one of the things that I think is so important is that I teach you more than a hairstyle. To me, it's more about I teach patterns in success. So tonight I spoke about, the design map. I've spoken about the importance of understanding how quiet or loud a hairstyle is. Where is the balance? Where is the proportion? How do you come up with those ideas? The importance of clearly of having a great set, understanding backcombing and understanding how to build these really beautiful shapes is all about coming from the foundation. And that's why I teach patterns in success. And that's where everything begins and everything kind of ends. So again, if you are interested in learning more about that, check out my boot camp that's coming up. And in the meantime, let's dive into this little girl that we have here. So Colette, you asked about this hairstyle. And what I actually decided to do was I did a complete barrel curl set on her. So she's got a lot of bounce and a lot of movement. So as in everything that we do, foundation is everything. The quality of the foundation. So I will often do a strand test, not only with product, but if I'm cutting hair, I'll do a strand test with the razor and a strand test with the scissors, just to determine which does the hair like the most. When it comes to long hair styling, the foundation is so important, which is the product that I use, the set that I'm going for, the longevity of that set. So for example, in here, I started off by blow drying this area back away from the face at the roots. And then over here, I went in and I put in a wave pattern in here with my blow dryer. So I actually combed this back and I put my wave pattern in here with my blow dryer just to create that nice movement. So the first thing I'm doing right now is I'm just evaluating if I want to take a brush to this hairstyle or whether I want to keep some of the rawness of this set as I'm going through here. Now, when I vogue around the face, whether it be a haircut or long hairstyling, uneven color, I first of all take the hair completely away from the face. And I look to see what happens when I close. I look to see what happens when I come through here, up higher, lower, longer. I just look at making shapes around the face. I never ever will do a hairstyle without not looking at the shape that I'm going to be creating. So I have with intention put in a very low side parting. I also have this comb here, this, see how cool that is? I'm also looking to see if I put this in, will that make this more interesting? Or will it be more interesting without it? But I actually feel as though it would be more interesting with it. So the question is, should I do my shape first and then put it in, or put it in and then do my shape? I'm going to put it in after, I think. Right. Conversation with self. Right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through some back combing, and then this entire hairstyle is going to be sewn. There'll probably be very few little pins in this hairstyle. So I know that I'm building a shape that's going to have the volume through here, all the way through here, into the back, and the same through here. So I'm building volume. So then the question begs is, what's the profile going to look like? So if the shape is going to come up through here, I don't want a bouffant up here. So this is going to stay flat. And so it's going to come up this way. So there's my first triangle. My second triangle will be at the back. And I like to work with triangles. I think that's really important. So I'm not going to brush the hair. I'm just going to keep it just the way that it is. So let's start. Comb, brush, and brush that went on the floor. The 30-second rule. Which tool should I use? So I'm going to do a technique called cotton candy. And it's a very airy kind of back combing. And it's very, 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 very light. So I have 7 different types of back combing methods. And we're going to go over this one right now. So I'm going to over direct the hair forwards. And I'm going to just come flat and up. You can see my elbow stays down. And as I'm coming through here, I'm coming super, 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 super light until I run out of hair. My next section is going to come around the perimeter, and I'm going to do exactly the same. And I don't actually like this brush. I don't know why, but I don't like it for here. So let me get my good old trusted friend that's here somewhere. Let's try this one. It's got different bristles. Right? If it doesn't work, don't keep going, right? Change something. How many times you just keep going thinking, I'm going to pray, it's going to work and pray, and it doesn't change at all. So I think that's very, very important. So I'm going to work around this perimeter here and just start my back combing. So I'm going to ask Colette to kind of come in and share some inspiration with us. Colette, the consultation, how has that changed your business?
Wow, it is absolutely 100% different. People actually say no one's ever done that for them before, and all the years they've gone to hairstylists. Some people have been with their hairstylist 20 plus years and never had a consultation. They didn't even know the face shape. They didn't know that when I was measuring from the hairline to the eyebrow to the nose to the chin, that they were completely balanced, or that their profile was completely straight. And I think those are the clients that, when you tell them, it's like, well, you're absolutely perfect. There's nothing to compensate for. It just, they already love you. And it's like, because I'm going to do this with everybody. Right. And then when I do find somebody that, well, we need to balance, they'd never seen that before. And I think the biggest shocker for them in the consultation is the skull shape. I'd put my hands on their skull, and we talk about this in some of your classes about a square head shape, a triangle head shape, or a rounded head shape. And that makes a difference as well. And when you're trying to create, I know my most challenging head shape is the triangle. And especially if somebody really needs some volume, I'm like, egads. It's a difficult one it's a challenge.
Yes, yes. What about your creativity? Where was it before and where is that now?
It's funny. I'm so glad you said that, because my creativity has definitely gone off the charts. And I just see things so differently now, and the possibilities are absolutely endless. I had a bride this weekend, and we were trying to figure out how to get her hair was down almost past her bum, and she wanted tiny little ringlets done with a wand. And I was strategically trying to figure out, with all the hair she had, how am I going to get those ringlets to stay put for 4 hours? And pinning them was an idea, but she didn't give me enough time. So I came up with a net, and I just pinned the net with all the curls inside the lingerie net up into her skull. And said, well, there you go put your dress on. And 4 hours later, I took the netting out, and it was perfect. And I watched her dance, and it was like, now see, I wouldn't have known that before. I wouldn't have been able to think outside the box. So my creativity has definitely been ignited.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. There you go, guys. The style is finished. Now what am I going to do, right? So one tool I do like is this comb. I love how it goes through the hair, and it sort of like separates better than your own hand. So this is cotton candy, and obviously it's very big and it's very, very airy. And what I'm going to do now is start to mold this into a shape that makes some sense. Another way that your client can get this look would be to simply put her finger in the light socket, and she'll be good to go, right? So I'm going to now start to just very, very gently, and I'm thinking, where am I going to begin here? I think I'll start on the heavy side. I'm going to come through here, and I'm just going to twist this through and twist this through very, very lightly. And I'm going to take a Japanese pin, and I'm going to sew this in through here. Right. And that's too tight.
Vivian, Mark asked what your favorite products are to use.
My favorite products? I have a lot of favorite products, actually, because I don't work with a product line. I get to play with so many different products. So I could give you a list of products that I really enjoy playing with. But I would say each product line that I work with that has a hero product that I really would use more than another one. I like Orbea products. There's some Redken products that I like. I've used some Joico ones. I've used some products by my friend Oz, beautiful product line. So, it really depends on what I'm striving to do as to which one I will use, if that makes sense. So I am coming through here right now. You can see this is like working with a cushion. It's like stuffing a cushion. The cushion is stuffed, right? And I've got that sort of nice sort of shape coming on through here. And I very lightly pinned it because I'm going to be sewing this. So there is my very, very, very light shape. I'm going to put the headband on now and bring this back. I'm going to mold this around through here. Any fuzzy wuzzies that I don't particularly care for, now is the time. So guess what? We now stop. Well, in a moment we stop. I've got to fiddle a bit first because I see some fuzzy wuzzies that I know will be a problem. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to look at the shape. So I have a framework, right? There's my framework. I know I want to lift this up more. I know this is going to come down a little bit more. I know that's going to be built out a little bit more. And there's the roundness. And there's the pin that just flew out. So these pins are not really meant to stay there. They're just there to like hold everything together until I'm ready to sew. So it's a really huge pillow. It's not going to end like this. Needle and thread. Here we go, right? Going to go on this side first. Going to come right the way through here, through the center, and secure. And I'm going to come through here and secure. Now, I've got to use my mirror a lot for seeing this shape. Wouldn't it be funny if all of a sudden I let go of this string? It'd be really scary. So I'm going to come right the way through the inside. And you can see that as I'm doing this, the shape is starting to change. All the way down and through. It's like there's a little animal inside, right? As the whole thing moves. Is this interesting to watch?
I love the sewing technique. It's so fun. I love the peaks and the valleys that it creates on a seemingly boring structure like you did with the last hairstyle too. The peaks and the valleys that it creates and just disconnects it.
Yes, and it does. And what's interesting about this as we go through here is that you're creating, well, okay. So the most important thing, obviously, in anything you do is creating a beautiful shape, right? You want a beautiful, beautiful shape. And the shape must balance with the body type of the person who's wearing it. So when you're looking at something like this, you're looking at the balance and you're looking at the proportion and you're looking at the fluidity of the shape. And what in an ideal world, what I really love to do is teach shape in dress work first and hair cutting last. Because what you have to do is understand a shape and understand the balance and the proportion of the shape. And the great thing about that is that as you're kind of working on the balance and the proportion and the shape, it's designed without commitment. And that's what makes that, you know, pretty amazing, that you're designing without the commitment of, you know, being forever and ever. And that's pretty an amazing thing to do. So I'm going to stop for a second. I'm not done, but I'm going to stop for a second and just look, because I want to make sure that this balance is really correct. So in stopping and looking and stepping back from the shape and just looking at the flow of that we've got going on through here, and where can I come in and just pin, harvest, 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 pin. Pinning is such an important thing. When you're pinning your shape, I've run out of thread. I think I'll leave that needle in there for a moment. So the thread comes like this, folks. And I usually do a yard. So that's like once, twice. And it's elastic. You can use embroidery silk, but it doesn't have the bendability. No, the flexibility. It's stiff. well, it doesn't have elastic, is what I'm trying to say. You know, when you're as old as me, you need a needle with an eye that large.
Vivian, we did this when I was camping, and we did it was a boot camp, I think, or it was a day of dress work, and I did not have elastic thread, but I'm here to tell everybody that a tooth flosser and fishing line worked marvelously to create the peaks and the valleys of my style, because that's all I had. I didn't have the needle and thread, so I went through my tackle box.
That is so funny. That's really
Yeah,
funny.
well, you get creative, yeah.
Well, you know, I was doing a photo shoot in the Sahara Desert, and the photographer said, "Let's do a curly look." I went, "Okay." The model's got straight hair. And he said, "Well, just curl her hair." I said, "Well, how am I going to do that? I have no electricity. I'm in the Sahara Desert." And I literally took toilet paper and made like strips out of it. And I did a rag set. And she stayed in the midday sun. And somehow it managed to work. And it was pretty incredible, actually, what actually happened. So it's amazing how resourceful you can be. It's amazing how resourceful you can be. So here I go now, coming in and again, coming through in the circles. And I've sewn hair now for about 20 years. I wouldn't say this is a new technique. But I just think it's got so many variations. And, you know, when you think about, ooh, that went down tight. When you think about whatever you don't like, you just sit on, as I said before. Just make it smaller. I thought it was really funny when I told my sister, "Listen, if you think it's too high, I'll just sit on it." Wouldn't you laugh?
Yes.
I suppose you wouldn't if you were the one doing the hair, wearing the hairstyle. Clearly you wouldn't. So you could leave this in the hair for later. It's a nice toothpick, right?
Yeah.
You never know when you're going to need it, right? Okay, so that's that sorted out. So I'm now going to just come through here and again look at the shape. Got my headband. I'm now going to just again look into the mirror and look at how many valleys and peaks can I give this, and looking at how this is flowing through. You'll notice I haven't even used any hairspray in this. It's just like the texture. And the candy floss just gives you an airiness. It's not a precision type of backcombing. It's not an invisible type of backcombing. Do we do that? Yes, of course we do. I want to make sure that this is balanced in here. So as I'm now looking at this and going, okay, where else do I want to go? I can gently come back down and through if I need to. This is going to be quite secure as well, my friends. So do you like this technique? Let me know in the chat, and let me know if you've got any questions, please.
Mark asked, how bad was the sunburn for the gal that was in the sun all day with the toilet paper rag curls?
Oh, yeah. No, she didn't stay there too long. In fact, you know, Mark, it was funny because it was a big photo shoot. The first day I was there, this beautiful model, she was a gorgeous German model. She just had secured a campaign with a cosmetic company for, you know, a really big job. And, you know, it's all very exciting. So I go and go to set her hair, and I put the curling iron in the nape of the neck, and I hear a sizzle, and I smell a burn. And I look at the curling iron in the nape of the neck, and I take it away. All of her hair is neatly wrapped around the curling iron. The hair burnt off like this short, the first section. Thank goodness I didn't start there. And I go, whoo. And she says, what happened? And I put the curling iron right in front of her face. I go, your hair is no longer on your head because it's around the curling iron. And then the iron just kind of like, the voltage was an issue. Oh, that was a good way to start the job, right? Yeah, it was quite crazy. So here we have the shape. You can see she clearly needs bigger shoulders to balance with this.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
But it's a pretty effect, isn't it? So then I just come through at the very end and I will just look at, again, the shape and the balance. And, you know, dress work should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. So that what I'm going to do, the final thing to finish this off is water. I like to use water to sometimes just freshen or collapse the hairstyle and just get that nice sort of movement going through there. And so in summary, voguing around the face, looking at shape, balance, and proportion, making sure that I have a really great set. I have a vision for where I'm going, which was just a really lovely round effect. We've got all of the hair sewing going through there. So, you know, it looks really quite lovely. And all she needs now is some bling bling, I think. There we go.
Oh, there you
There
go.
we go.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that.
Yeah. So now what I would be doing, which I'm not going to do now, I would probably do it later, is I would then be photo journaling this. And in my photo journaling, I would be looking at, okay, how do I make it better? Are my valleys and peaks balanced? What else do I need to do? Just to make sure that the fluidity is there. But you can see that that's a really lovely way of giving your client, it almost looks like a haircut, like a little graduation with a nice little curly vibe going on there. And, you know, again, start thinking about, this is the big thing, guys. Routine is important. Patterns are important. They get you through your day. But if you stick to a pattern, you kill creativity. Kill it, because there's no room for the creativity to flow through. And what I have found is that when I'm using my consultation and I'm going through that whole process, what I know happens is that in my journey is I have a plan. It's well thought out. There's rational, there's a gut feeling, and there's intuitive. They all live in that happy family. And what I do know is that the foundations are the most important thing in anything you do: cut, color, styling, etc., etc. So my training really is about saving you so much time, because I can teach you things that have taken me decades to learn, and you can learn it like immediately. And that's pretty powerful. So what I know is that when you come into my world and we immerse in training, my goal is to help you fall in love with your journey, fall in love with who you become as an artist. So you may have a yearning to be more creative. You may have a yearning to be more technical. You may just say, Viv, I want to make more money and do less work. We have plenty of hairdressers that I put through my training that can actually say that. So what I know is that you don't have to wait decades to get your results. And, you know, Colette's been in the business quite some time. She went on a long journey before I met her. So now the great thing is I'm accelerating her experience and her learn. So consequently, you know, Colette's making more money. My other students are making a lot more money. And I have everything from very young to very seasoned hairdressers that are kind of with me on this journey. So if you're saying, well, Viv, I don't really know what I want, I need career guidance, then book a call. Book a call with us. It's free. And we will look at where you are now, where you want to go, and we will help you on what we call is our success path. So some people we gear to the left, some people we gear to the right. Some people say, I want to do all of these things. And we say, no, 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 no. We're only going to let you do one thing. We have people that we talk out of doing certain things because we say, no, 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 this is going to demand all of your time and attention. We don't want you to do that. Wait, 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 wait. So we have to do what's right for you. Otherwise, we're not going to be successful. So this was the little demo that I just showed you. It came pretty close, I think. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yes. Yes.
DM.
Excellent.
All right, darling. I kissed my horse on his muzzle and he got excited and he bit me on my arm. Ow, that hurts. And I have the most wicked bruise. It's like, I forget he's a horse. Just love him so much. So what I want to help you with tonight, my friends, is how to build your brand, to take where you are now and take you to that next place. How do you stand out from the crowd in a very crowded market? There's still a way to do that. It's your authentic voice, and it's developing that. That's really important. How to take great images of your work, because you know what? If you don't know how to photograph your work, then you're missing huge opportunities. Your work should be working for you. Your photos should be working for you while you're asleep. And today, because you can self-publish, you can be a content creator. It's up to you what you want it to be. And so sometimes it's hard to find your own authentic voice. And sometimes you just need to be mentored by somebody in order to find that. And when you find it, it's amazing the joy and the creativity that just flows. How to gain your confidence if you feel like you've lost it. We all go through valleys and peaks, and very often we do lose our confidence. How to increase your income and value behind your chair. That is a constant thing. How are you reinventing and adding more value? Become more creative and get off the assembly line. That is a big thing for so many stylists. Stronger technical skills that result in a happier client and a happier you. I think one of the biggest and most liberating things is when you have such strong technique, you can trust and lean into the technique because you know it's going to work. Horizontal haircuts will always build weight. Doesn't matter whether you're using scissors, razor, or broken glass. Weight. This will always give you lightness. Vertical will always give you light styles. Diagonal shapes will always give you roundness. That's the law of the science of the architecture. When you understand that, you can look at a photograph and reverse engineer it. When you look at someone's hair, you can say, yes, that hair is going to build up. It's going to work that way. So to me, it's always about going back to the fundamentals. So clearly, you've got two options. You can absolutely take some of this information I've shared with you tonight and run with it. And I encourage you to just take some of the tips I've given you tonight and go for it. You can also take this information and, as I said, you can go on your own, you can experiment, you can try different things. Some things may work, some things you may need some help with, and that's where I come in. So what I want you to know is that we can work together to achieve your goals. But first of all, we need to know where your head is, where you want to go. Sometimes you may not even know where you want to go. It's just like, I don't know. Well, then let us ask you the questions to do the reveal, and that's important. I also want to mention to you too, on a Sunday now, we just did one yesterday, we're doing a Sunday mentoring. If you haven't seen it, it's on Facebook and on YouTube. Do check it out because it's under my name, Vivian McKinder, and it's really looking at what kind of hairdresser are you? What do you want to be? Let's look at how you can become the hero so that you can serve and give more to your guests. So I think you'll enjoy that. So as I mentioned before, you can book your call and we can help you on your success path. So why do many people fail? There's a lot of people that do fail, right? And when people fail, the question is why? In 10 years' time, will you just be an older version of yourself or transform your skills? So the big question is, are you ready to move on? Are you ready to be transformed? And so when we look at these points here, how long will these are the questions that we get. How long will this take for me to learn, right? That's a very common one. How do I stay accountable? Well, we keep you accountable, trust me. Does my age matter to learn this design mapping process when I've already developed my own style? You can always add to what you know if you're willing and open to receive. I've always specialized as a colorist. Will this work for me? We get a lot of colorists that are saying, listen, I want to learn how to cut hair. I want to learn how to style hair. I want to do more. And we say, come on in and we will help you. I've never been able to master the art of a consultation. If you've never been given the script and never been taught the whole psychology behind a consultation, then we're here to help you. what happens if I've lost all my creativity? So that's going to be your next thing. What if I fear cutting hair too short? That seems to be a real common thing today. People saying, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to cut hair short. What if I'm not tech savvy? Well, we're here to help you with that as well. Trust me, we get a lot of people that aren't tech savvy. That's when we usually say, find a 4-year-old and they will help you. Will this require a lot of effort or changing who I am? Anytime you want to learn something new, it requires effort. But you've got to think about it. You're investing to go up versus staying still. And the big thing is, if you are standing still in any way in your business, you're actually moving backwards. It's about moving forward. It's about having goals. It's about being held accountable, which is why my program really does work so well, because we hold you accountable, which is really great. Do you know the average person will spend 2 hours a day on social media, which equals 30 days in a year? And then people say to me, well, Viv, I don't have time. And I say, that's not true. That's not true. You may have to give up something and make the time for it. So what I know is that when you are fully immersed in a training, that's when it's transformative, not dipping at the surface, not seeing bits here and bits there, random information. A structured training is totally different to dipping your toe in the water. And it's a huge, huge difference. So my training program works this way. You watch the videos before a live event. You show up for our live virtual events, just the way you are here with me right now. And then you post your work into a forum where we give you the feedback. And the feedback is so important, because when I see your work or Cindy sees your work, we can say, oh, this person needs to be doing this a bit more or that a bit more. And we're coaching and we're guiding you. Because what if you go off there and you get your YouTube video, which is great, and you do it, and there's nobody there to give you the feedback or help you, or you get stuck, or they made it look so easy and now you're trying, it's like, oh, it did not work. So to us, the way that we work is absolutely successful. The video library, the coaching, I get to see you in action, which is amazing. Feedback on your work, which is incredible. Like laser coaching. It's amazing. So we have this live event that those of you who want to be big and brave, you can sign up right now. There's only a few places left and you can sign up right now. You can go to our website, vivianmckinder.com. There'll be a section that says events and you can sign up right now for there. There's only a few positions in gold, and check it out and just join me. What have you got to lose? Nothing. You got tons to gain, right? And if you say, well, Viv, I'd like to be able to do hairstyles like this on my longer clients, how pretty is that? How nice is that versus your typical ponytail? We can show you how to do that. So if you want to book a career coaching call, just go to the website. You'll see the link there. We're here basically to help you. But what I want to tell you is very important, is that if you book a call, make sure you show up. One time I took a call, this is funny actually, and the person never showed up. I thought, that's really weird. I want to talk to this person, right? And so I called her. And she said, you know, who are you? And I said, my name's Vivian. And she said, oh, who are you? I said, well, I'm a hairdresser. She said, oh, and I said, you called, you were supposed to have a coaching session with us and I was going to actually work with you. She said, oh, I'm too busy right now. I'm in the grocery store. Yeah, baby. If you stay with me, you could have bought the grocery store. In fact, one of our students today said to us, it was so cute. He said he was driving a pickup truck. He just bought a Porsche. And he said, thanks, Viv. Nice, right? Yeah, nice one. So whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever brings you joy, but you are in your own driver's seat and you can be the hairdresser you want to be. If you've got a vision and if it's cloudy, we can bring clarity to that to help you on your way. So Colette, any advice or anything you'd like to say as we say goodbye to our friends this evening?
Just do it. Just sign up. It's like I said, it's life-changing. And on that note, I was talking to a lender the other day. I never thought it was possible, but I'm on a 1 year goal to buy my first house. And that is huge for me, that I finally make enough money to qualify for the houses that are in this area, which the prices just keep going up and up and up. But I mean, I never thought that was ever possible before. And it's because I'm doing the quality of work, getting the repeat business due to the training that I had from Vivian McKender. So it's all paying off. And so 1 year goes so fast, so fast. I can't even believe it was 2 years ago, I think I started.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. And, we have
Yeah.
people in the designer program. Kim is with us tonight. Evelyn's with us, who's in the editorial program. Heather's been working with us. We've got people in the designer program that are actually now going into their second year, and we've got a couple that are doing their third year. So it's amazing how every time you learn, you just get something more. So we've got members here tonight. I want to just say thank you to you all, because you have taught me so much as well. And I want to just ask my members, please reach out to your friends in your community and just say, listen, just watch tonight's presentation, or watch the Sunday mentoring, and let's just bring more people in. Remember, the more people who are elevated, the more we raise our standards. And at the end of the day, your competition is with yourself. How do you better today what you did yesterday? And I always say, can we just make it 1% better? Can we just add 1 more percent to what we do to raise the standard? Don't be frightened of change. Embrace it. Change is the only constant we have in life. And Confucius said that one. And so embrace it. If you make a mistake, it's like problems are not permanent. And problems, when you learn from them, they have this miraculous way of evaporating, because you've faced the problem. You haven't run from the problem. So if there's something in here that intimidates you, just take it on and say, I'm going for it. And, failure is part of the journey. I have failed my way to be successful. I have cried at times when things have gone horribly wrong. I have had business frustrations and challenges that you'd be shocked if you knew the full depth of some of the challenges I've had. But they don't stop me from wanting to be the best version of myself. And that is what I love to teach. How, success is a mindset. And when you embrace that, it's huge. And so I always say, when you have learned the reason why, the results flow in. You must know the results are going to only come from your biggest, why am I doing this? Whether it be voguing around the face, whatever it may be, whether it's your style choice. And when you make the right style on that right client, it's just magic. It's magic, and you want more. And when you make the wrong hair decision and you're not really reading the hair correctly and the client correctly, it's like, get me out of here. I'm ready to quit hairdressing. That's how ridiculously extreme our industry is. When all the stars are in alignment, it's like so empowering and so brilliant to be a creative. And when any of those things go wrong, it's like, that's it, I'm done, I'm over it. I'll go and work in a call center. I'll greet people at Walmart, whatever it's going to be. Because when you're that desperate, you can't think big, right? You think small. So Colette, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I wish you continued success. Have a great time going to Australia on your adventures and your journeys. Have a wonderful time. My dear friends, thank you for being with us tonight. And again, please spread the word about what we're doing and bring in more people into our world, because we would definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.